Welcome back to More Moss to the People. This is Asa Nilsson, your host. Today, I am joined by Yvonne Chung in Oregon. Is that right?
I'm in California now.
California. Okay. I
Hmm.
didn't actually ever ask you where you lived. I knew you were definitely on the Pacific side because of the time difference, but this
West
is it,
Coast
like
girl.
West Coast girl. Okay. Well, I'm in Sweden, so we are 8 hours apart right now because we haven't done our time change yet. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited because I don't know you. I really don't have like really any background with you, but this is the beauty of the internet where I
Yes.
know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. And I had put out a request saying I would love to talk to somebody about human design. But because I care so much about relationship, I had to make sure who you were first. I had to
Hmm.
feel you, like, what's she like? What does she stand for? What does she stand for in the world? Right. And I loved you instantly.
Hmm.
I fell in love with you within the first second. I was like, oh yeah, yep, this is going to be just fine. So, from knowing you from nothing to now here we are today, I want to say thank you.
Here we are. Oh, thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
It's such a pleasure to be here and
Thank you.
happy to just like have fun conversation about
Yeah.
human
Oh my
design.
God, it's such a beautiful topic and it's so interesting. And I know so little about it because, like I mentioned to you before, I had a human design reading a while back, but it was really hard for me. It was like way over my head. And
Hmm. Hmm.
which, was it was helpful, I guess, a little bit, but it was too much. It was just too much. And so when I was listening to your free masterclass that you have on your website, which was amazing, amazing. It was so well put together and it was so clear and so concise and so informative that I was like, okay, now this is something that I can understand. And so that's why I had to get my girl on here today. Tell us, please tell who's ever listening right now about yourself. Who are you?
Well, I'm Yvonne. I am a child of immigrants. I am a Korean American. I am a coach, deconditioning expert, dream architect, and a
Mm.
practical mystic. I work primarily mostly with women of color and children of immigrants to help them kind of decondition all of the bullshit, all of the shoulds, all of the
Oh God.
expectations, and master their energy and really come home to their home frequency, come back home to themselves so that they can live a life of authenticity, fulfillment, and ease. Like
Mm.
life does not have to always feel like we're fucking swimming
Gosh.
upstream. It
No.
really does
Oh
not,
my
you
gosh, I've
know?
done it for 55 years. I know, I'm learning. I am learning that, gosh, can I just allow life to be easy and surrender. And I think I love that you want to serve that part of humanity. Everyone is well served
Yeah,
by
yeah.
this system. Now, when you and I had our first introductory conversation where we just chatted and got to know each other a little bit, you know, part of my the purpose of this movement is I love meeting people that dare to show up for themselves in their own lives and dare to be different in a world where, God, it'd be so much easier just to be like everybody else because of the
Mm,
the friction or the family. Like, I'm not
mm.
living up to,
Oh.
oh, I just got chills, living up to the expectations, or I'm an embarrassment to the family because they don't even understand what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And I
Oh, Lord.
connected so deeply with you.
You're
Uh,
speaking to my soul right now.
yeah. Oh, I have the full body chills. So I know that this is
Love
something
it.
super important,
Yeah.
and that you're daring to do this, that you dare to have the conversation, even when maybe it would be easier not to. That's freedom. And
Yes.
I mean, let's talk about human design. How did you find it? How did you discover human design in your
Oh
life?
man, human design found me. And I always like to believe that human design finds people at like the right time in their lives, like when they can use it, when they can really kind of access the wisdom that it has to support them with wherever they are in their lives. And I had quit my corporate job to travel the world back in 2017. And I believe it was 2018 that I was in South America. I was volunteering at a plant medicine center in Peru. And as we were just like hanging out, sitting in the living room, one of the other volunteers like burst through the door, super excited with a stack of papers that he like drew blank human design charts and photocopied them at the nearby convenience store, brought a bunch of markers and coloring pencils. He walks through the door. He's like, have you guys heard about human design? And we're like looking at him like, no, but you seem really
Did we?
excited. Tell us
Yeah.
more.
Uh-huh.
And so he shared it with us, and we ran our charts that night and filled in our little charts with markers and coloring pencils. And then he had sent me a book. I think it was one of Karen Curry's books. And I stayed up until like 3 a.m. that night in bed, just reading this book from fucking cover to cover. I was
Wow.
just like, my mind was absolutely blown.
Ooh.
And I've been like a personal development, like personality tests kind of junkie for like, I don't know. I studied psychology and anthropology in college. So I've been like, you know, it's been a part of my life for a long time, but I had never felt more seen by a system than by human design. I was just like, everything clicked, and I was like, holy fucking shit. What the fuck?
Oh my gosh. So it just opened. Your world just went click, 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 click.
Yeah,
and it was like,
everything.
Oh my God, I just got chills again. All right, seriously. And I only get chills when I'm telling the truth. I love it.
Yes, truth bumps. That's what I call them.
Truth bumps. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Yes. Oh, wow. Okay. So 2018, your world changed forever. And because, I mean, for anyone that will take a moment and listen to go to your website, go to your stuff and listen to you. I mean, when you are doing this, you are on fire. It is like you can feel the connectedness to, you are so in the flow of your life in that moment. And you're an excellent teacher. Which, right, that's the point, right? I mean, like, what's the point of knowing all this and then not teaching it to anybody else? Like, no, that's no good. There's no reason for that. But okay,
it's definitely like deeply intuitive at this point. And like there's a point that I feel with anybody who is learning something, a skill, a trade, or whatever, where it's like we have to engage the intellect to a certain extent, but after that, we create the scaffolding with the intellect, and then the intuition comes in to fill in the rest, to color it in. And we surrender the intellect to the intuition at some point. And that's where our own unique essence can come in and infuse with that craft. And that's kind of like the point that I feel I've been able to meet this system at, is it's become deeply intuitive. And like when I'm doing readings or sharing the system or teaching, I like black out. I like don't even know what I said. And like I'm just like straight up channeling at that point. And I feel this like tube of energy through the crown of my head that's just like tingling. When I like come out of it, I'm like, whoa, where am I? What happened? Was it okay?
Yeah. Did I say everything okay? Did it come out okay? Yeah. That's powerful. That is really powerful and beautiful. And that is it is a gift that you have been given. And I mean, then of course there's the understanding all sides of ourselves. You know, some people say if it's a gift, it's also a curse. It's the black, it's the white, it's the light, it's the shadow. So for human design, then for somebody who is like complete novice that doesn't know anything about human design, what is it? Like, how do you use it to help your life?
So I will usually tell people it's kind of like astrology on steroids, right?
I love
It is basically like your operating manual for your energetic anatomy. It's like we all come here imprinted with like our energetic fingerprint. And that fingerprint tells us like how our energy operates best, most optimally, right? How to stop swimming upstream and start flowing with your river. Human design teaches you how to work with your energy instead of against your energy. And that is like the simplest way that I could put it. It's like your operating manual for experiencing less friction and more ease in life.
I need some of that. I mean, who does not? Because I mean, if we can have any kind of insight into ourselves instead of like always trying to have to figure everything out by ourselves,
Mhm.
right? It's like like the birth charts, the astrological birth charts. I mean, to see an actual human design chart of yourself. What does a person need to have in order to get a human design chart created for
Yeah,
themselves?
you'll need your birth time, your birth date, and your birth location. And with the
Mhm.
time, just as accurate as you can get.
Okay.
You could get by with like a semi-accurate one, but there are just deeper layers of the chart, like more nuances
Okay.
that are a bit more specific to time, right? So
Mhm.
date, time, and location.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So what then happens to people who may be adopted that have no clue, that do not have any idea? Could they get some
Yeah.
information?
If they know their birth date
Yeah,
and location,
yeah.
there we could maybe work with that and try different times throughout the day to see if there are any big changes or not.
Okay.
Sometimes there are changes by the minute, sometimes there are changes by like 8 hours. So when I have people that are unsure of their birth times, like I'll go in and try a bunch of different ones,
Uh,
and just kind of like, as I mentioned, like this has become intuitive to me to like the point where I can usually guess people's type and profile with like 80% accuracy just by engaging with them. And so like based on that, I'll be able to kind of hone in on what their type might be, but we may not be able to go into deeper layers like their profile and things like that. But their
okay.
type, we could probably scrape something together there.
Right, yeah, get a general idea. Now, how many types are
Yeah.
there?
There are in like the common discourse, there are 5 types, but actually
Okay,
there are 4. So there's manifestors, generators, manifesting generators, projectors, and reflectors. But the reason why I say there are 4 is because manifesting generators are actually generators, but they're a subtype of generators. But those
okay.
are kind of the 5 groups that you'll hear a lot about all over
Mhm.
the internet and stuff.
Okay, because, I am a manifesting generator,
Mhm.
and you were what was the one that you were? Projector.
I'm a projector.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, projector. Ta, 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 ta. Easy for me to say. All right. So there's something called the big three for like what would somebody like if they don't want to get like into a whole deep dive because there is so much information. Like you said, it is like astrology on steroids. And if you have ever seen anything with astrology, then you already know that that's already something really humongous to get into. So if there's a top three or the big three, what would those be that somebody could maybe start off with understanding about themselves? Ooh, I can't hear you.
I was muted. Um, Type, strategy, and authority. I would
Type.
say, like, if you're first starting, don't go any deeper than that because
Okay.
your type, your strategy, and your authority, those are the human design big three. And those are your access point into your human design, into understanding how to unlock ease in your life. Every other thing that's a part of the human design system is not going to do shit for you if you don't
Okay.
understand those top 3. So it's like that's
Okay.
really where the focus is.
All right. So the
Mhm.
types were the five that you just mentioned before.
Mhm.
Okay. And then strategy, what would that be? Like, what does that mean?
So the strategy has to do with what type you are. And your strategy is basically how you minimize friction on your path. It's
Mm.
what I like to say is like your strategy is how you protect your energy and how you minimize friction on your path, ensuring that you're only engaging with people and opportunities that are actually in resonance and alignment with you and your path and your
Mm.
highest path, your highest purpose. And so, for example, for you, well, you're a manifesting generator. So your strategy is actually 2-part because you're a generator with manifestor qualities, and that is wait to respond. That means generator types, like generators and manifesting generators, you guys are not here to chase anything. You guys are magnetic by nature. There is nothing that you need to chase. And we're conditioned in this culture like Nike, just do it, go
Right.
get it, go get your dreams.
Right.
Da, da,
Push,
da, da,
push,
da,
push,
da.
push. Mm.
And the thing is if you're magnetic by nature, everything that's correct for you is already on its way. But if you're
Mm.
busy running around chasing some other shit without even knowing if it's
Mm.
correct for you, but this other thing is like already on its way,
Mm.
how is it going to catch up to you if you're busy chasing something else that you don't
Mm.
even know is correct for you or not, right? So you're minimizing friction and you're protecting your energy, because if you're chasing something that's not correct for you, you're wasting your energy and your life force. But if you're chilling and you're trusting in your magnetism, waiting to respond, waiting for something to show up in your field so that your body has something to respond to tell you yes or no, right? Then you know when that thing shows up, like, you're not wasting your life force. You get to decide when it shows up. Do I engage my life force or do I not? Instead of burning that life force energy chasing other bullshit. Right?
Chasing
Chasing
everything,
this,
pushing,
yeah,
shoving.
chasing this like conditioned goal or this conditioned expectation that somebody else put on you or whatever, right? So your strategy, the first part for you would be wait to respond, wait to see what shows up in your field, and trusting that your magnetism is bringing everything that's correct for you already to you, right?
That's so hard for
I
the
know.
controller thought that I am, or was. I'm working on that. I really am working on trying to just to accept and to allow and to know that, you know, when you're doing things all the time, you're doing what you think is right, and but there's a different energy in pushing. There's a very different energetic around, like in the body, like how it feels so constricted. It doesn't feel like it's expansive at all when you're just pushing
Right.
and trying so hard to make something fit. And I have
Right.
spent so many years of my life doing that. And now at this moment, when I get to sit with beautiful people like you, and I mean, to get your heart and listen to your heart and share my heart. I'm like, you kidding me? This is like, it's a dream come true. I get chills thinking about how lucky I am to be able to be here and how everything has led to this moment now. And I know that you say that we have to follow the breadcrumbs, you know, like when you put something out there, like, don't go chasing it now, don't go chasing it, allow the messages to come, to kind of like to say, yep. Or like something else will show up that'll be like, yep, see, this is the right
Right.
thing to do. This was,
Right.
I'm going to
Right.
share something with you. This probably means nothing to you, but I know that you were cat sitting. I saw on your Instagram that you were cat sitting, and your cat that you were babysitting was Stevie. And my cat, whom I love the most in the whole wide world, may he rest in peace, his name was Steve. And I was like,
Aw.
thank you, Steve. There it is. There's my breadcrumb.
Love
There's my
it.
breadcrumb. I
Oh.
needed to get the confirmation, because I was like, oh, am I pushing? Am I trying too hard to get this person? I'm like, no.
Right.
This
But like,
was
here's the thing is, how did I come into your field? It was through
from
somebody else.
Joanne Higa, who
Right.
is my
Okay.
friend from the support system with Sherry Salata. She's in your
Right.
marketing course
So
program that you're taking.
when I think of this in terms of your strategy, right? Your strategy is to first wait to respond. And then as the manifester part of you is then to, once you make the decision, it's to inform, letting people know what your course of action is going to be. And so what happened was Joanne came into your field and she brought this me into your field that magnetized to you. And then your body was like, oh, yeah. And that made that decision. And then you went and informed me. You were like, hey, I would like to do this with you. And me being a projector, my strategy is to wait for the invitation. And so you
Okay, yeah.
invited me into this engagement,
Yes.
and I was like, yeah, this
Oh,
sounds great.
yeah.
Right.
Oh.
And so, like, this is like the flow, right? And so it's like, when I am talking about strategy too, for me, for projectors out there, we're also not here to chase anything. We're here to wait to be recognized and invited for the gifts that we offer. And so we're not here to like fucking try to fucking convert people or like,
Yeah.
share our advice willy-nilly or like, chase things and opportunities. Like, we're here to just like kind of show up and do what we do and see what invitations come our way. And that's literally how I became a coach, was through listening to the breadcrumbs of the invitations. But if I hadn't fully understood my design, my strategy, I don't know that I would have recognized those breadcrumbs along the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
you know
That's right. How many people could, it's, I mean, it's a simple thing, but not a simple thing to do, to get this information. I mean, this is knowledge. It's not the end all be all of anything. It's one other
Right.
way that we can learn about ourselves on a deeper,
Right.
more spiritual way, and to figure out how then we can share that on a deeper level with the collective. I mean, it
Absolutely.
isn't only about us. I mean, yes, we have to
Mm-mm.
tend to self first. Of course, we have to, because if we do not tend to self, we cannot tend to others. So when we understand, when we use these beautiful tools like the human design, and we use the Enneagram or tarot or astrology, or I mean, all these beautiful things, they're here to help us understand ourselves better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I really firmly believe like when you're first exploring human design, it teaches you so much about yourself,
Mhm.
but it really is about teaching you about yourself in the context of the collective. And as you get into these deeper layers, it's like I like to think of them as like the micro and the macro layers of the human design system. The micro is like your type, your strategy, authority. How do you unlock ease? How do you tap into your energetic anatomy? Then you zoom out and
Mm,
you're like, okay, now how does my energetic anatomy fit into the collective? What does
mm,
that look like in terms of
mm.
the whole fabric of human collective consciousness, and the evolution of human consciousness as we, because evolution hasn't fucking stopped, guys. We're still
Yeah.
evolving, right?
Well, I
And
hope so anyway. I
yeah,
hope we're not
fingers
stopped.
crossed.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're
God
not
willing.
devolving, right?
Yes.
But it
Yes.
really, like, once you get to these, like, I call them also the dharmic layers of human design, where it's like you uncover these layers of understanding how your life's path, your energetic anatomy really fits into this beautiful system, this whole that is moving towards this evolution of collective consciousness. And it's so beautiful. Like, I
Mm.
love playing around in those layers because it's such a beautiful, when I share these layers with people, they always just say like, this is such a beautiful homecoming of like,
Mm.
um, of just understanding a little bit more deeply and more on a soul level, like your place in the universe, which is so comforting
Mm.
and so
Mm.
beautiful at the same time.
And we all have a place, right?
We
It's
do.
I mean,
Absolutely.
on a cosmic level, yes, we all have a place in the universe, but we also have a place at the table, right? If we're
Mm.
bringing it down to the micro, where
Hmm.
every single person has the right to be here. We're all
Hmm.
created the same, to be beautiful, beautiful, and to share our gifts and to understand our gifts, and that
Yeah.
we all need to be, we have to, it's the weave, it's
Yes.
the interconnectedness of us all. And when we stop trying to be like everybody else, which is
Mm.
absolutely
Preach.
incumbent upon us to understand, we all have a place. And when
Yeah.
we show up as ourselves, that is the place that we're supposed to
Yes.
take. Not
Preach.
not,
Preach.
not to be like somebody else, because then I'm trying to be like you and then I'm
Yes.
not myself. And it's like, ah,
Right. And
no.
the human design
Mm,
system is coined, the person who had channeled it, Ra Ruhu, as the science of differentiation, because it is basically here to show us how different we are all meant to be. And
mm.
he always talks about the just the death of homogenization, like
Thank
fuck all of
yes,
that. Like, we are not
please,
meant to be the
please.
same. We
No.
are not meant
Ugh.
to homogenize. And when we do that, it does not serve evolution. It does not
Mm,
serve, it does nobody any favors when we
mm,
homogenize. But it's this beautiful journey of being conditioned in a homogenous culture and then deconditioning from
mm,
that to find our own differentiation.
mm.
And that's really like, that's really, I feel, the work that I came here in this life to do, was to like understand
Ugh.
this system and all these other systems of self knowledge to
Mm,
help guide others to step into their differentiation, to
mm,
like fucking honor that shit
right.
because it's beautiful. Like,
Mm,
and your differentiation serves the world,
mm.
and
Truly,
I believe that to the core. So as you were saying that, I was just
truly.
like, preach, sister.
Yes. Oh gosh, that is absolutely one of the biggest tenets of this movement, is for people to be who they are, and when they show up as themselves, I love that. I'm like, immediately, I'm like, whoosh, it's like a magnet, it's like a moth to a
Yes.
flame. I'm like, what are you doing? How are you doing that? That's interesting. Can I talk to you? Can I listen to you? Can I share this with other people too? Because that's what I mean. That's where we're going. We are going there anyway. Where
Mhm.
the dehomogenization of humanity, of the collective. I mean, it is happening.
Yes.
As Sherry Salata says, the seat change is happening. Meaning
Mm.
that the patriarch is stepping on
Mhm.
down, the matriarch is stepping on up,
Yes.
which again, there has to be a balance. Of course, there's not just the matriarchal society. I mean, there is a balance, there is a yin and a yang between all
It's a
of us.
dance.
Yeah, it
It's
is
a
a dance, and it needs
dance,
to
you
be a
know?
dance. It needs to be the
Yeah.
flow, and
That's the polarity that exists in the
it has
fabric,
to. Yes.
foundational fabric of the
Yeah.
universe. And like
Yes.
even like the ancient Hindus understood this in like giant scales of timekeeping,
Mm.
where like we've been in a masculine era for, I don't know, like 200,000 years or something like that. I
Mm.
can't remember exactly, but we are
Longer than
on
I've
the
been alive.
cusp right now. We are on a cusp right now of pivoting, making that switch. The pendulum is starting to swing
Mm.
in the other
Mm.
direction of the feminine. And
Mm.
people are feeling that, and it's
Yes.
beautiful. And,
Mhm.
we needed that period of that masculine
Yes.
energy to
It
have
served a purpose.
it served a purpose,
Mhm.
and now it's time to have the pendulum swing in the other direction
Mm.
and do this
Mm.
beautiful dance of polarity as a
Mm.
collective. And yeah, it blows the
Mm.
universe is such a grand and mysterious place, and I fucking love it.
It
What a
is
trip to be alive.
pretty, yeah, right, it is, uh, because it certainly makes you feel like just like this little tiny dot, but then you realize that tiny dot is the stardust that we all are, every single
Mm,
one of us, that we all return. I mean, I believe in that's what I
mhm.
personally believe in. I wanna touch on something so interesting that you mentioned to me when we talked the first time, and that was about the I don't know why this sticks in my head, probably because I love the number 7, that deconditioning can potentially take 7 years to
Yeah.
fully decondition ourselves from blank,
Mhm, mhm.
the truths. Tell me more about that,
Yeah, so they say in
please.
like Ra Uruhu had said that it takes about 7 years to decondition, or maybe it was Richard Rudd, author of the Gene Keys, but
Mm.
it's because, just like the cellular turnover rate, right? Like
Mhm.
every 7 years, every single cell in our body is a new cell. We are physically not the same person we were. And as we know, there's cellular memory, there's memory in the DNA.
For
We
sure.
store
Mm.
stress and trauma and all of these things in our DNA. Our body remembers. And
Always.
as we decondition and we start to create new memories in our body, new neurological pathways, new nervous system habits, and all of these things. And we start to process all of the trauma and the deconditioning and the limiting beliefs and all of the conditioning that we have absorbed through our childhood, through our teen, whatever, right? Through being human. And we start to kind of slough those off as we are imprinting our new cells with a new foundation, with a new belief system, with a new
Mm.
nervous system
Mm.
experiences. Then after 7 years, there are new cells, right?
Mm.
And so we are shedding those layers, and it's a slow burn. It's a slow and steady
Mhm.
process. Like, and the thing is, after 7 years, after you've deconditioned maybe your traumas from being 8 years old, that doesn't mean that we don't absorb more conditioning and trauma
Sure.
throughout our lives. And so
Sure.
it's a continual
Always,
process.
yeah.
It's not like 7 years, I'm done, I'm deconditioned, and
See how
I'm
clean I am?
enlightened. Yeah, exactly. Squeaky clean. I've fucking seen the light. It's not like that, but it's this continual process of
Yeah.
sloughing off the
Mm.
old and bringing in the new, and
Mm.
re-imprinting your cells, and you're re-imprinting your DNA with new ways of being, and slowly and steadily coming into a new place of being, of
Mm.
differentiation, of self-love, of self-acceptance, and love of the other. And
Mm.
yeah, and so I always tell my clients, like, this is a slow burn.
Mm.
Come back to it as many times as you want. Like, I'll have clients message me like 3 months, 6 months later, like, holy shit, that thing you said in our reading just clicked. And it's like, yeah,
It
that's what
just clicked in.
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh. which is true, because it means that they're paying attention. And sometimes you just like, you need something else to happen. It's like when somebody tells you something, you don't hear it, and then somebody else tells
Mhm.
you, you're like, oh yeah, they're like, wait, I just told you that.
Mhm.
I didn't hear it from you, but I heard it from them. Yeah.
Mhm.
But the idea of, if we open up our minds and our hearts to, there's so many ways that if we don't feel good about something, can we change it? Sure. Yeah, there's always alternatives. There's always people out there that can help us see something from a different perspective, get back to the mindfulness practices, get back to
Mhm.
coming back to self, coming back to Mother Earth, coming back to Source, Spirit, Apple, whatever it is you believe in, that is a higher being. But the human design, um, can you, you have the ability to share the screen. Can you just show like a little snippet of what a human design, is it called a graph, or what is it called?
Yeah, body graph, or you could
Body
call it a chart,
graph.
human design
Okay.
chart.
Yeah. What a
That works
human
too.
design chart looks like. This is going to be mine. And I mean, we talked about the big three, and there's however many other layers
Am I sharing the right
underneath.
one? Yeah.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. This is so helpful, because there's
Yes.
so much information here. And thankfully, how to look at something like this. This is what you do for your work.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, what do you do? So people would like
We
book.
have the same incarnation cross. I just saw
What
that.
is,
Okay,
I
that
can't
is
see with my
besides the point. Those are the
Whoa.
deeper layers I had mentioned earlier, kind of like the
Okay.
dharmic layers. The
Uh-huh.
incarnation cross has a lot to do with like our life's path or the energy of our purpose, right?
Ooh. Ooh.
But yeah, that could be for another time.
Okay. All right. No, I want to know now. Yeah, this
I
is
can share
amazing.
if you'd like to.
I have, yes, tell me something.
Okay,
Rax
so
Maya too.
yeah, so the right angle cross of Maya, that is also mine, the right angle cross of Maya. And this is all about kind of piercing the veil to understand the dualistic nature of the universe and sharing that with people. If in the most simplest form
Mm.
is the way that I could describe it. So
Yes,
yeah, this is
piercing
very
the veil
interesting.
in the
Yeah,
most
like
simplistic.
piercing the Maya, right? Seeing through the Maya for what it is, into like the dualistic nature of existence and the universe.
Mm.
Yeah, seeing through the bullshit. How about that?
Girl, I've got a real good sniffer. That is actually one of my real good gifts. And I'm also good with seeing patterns. That's something that I have
Mhm.
exceptional skills at, which I don't know why, but see, this is fascinating to me. So this is something that somebody can contact you, and you can help them to unlock
Yes, yes. You have
potentially.
your conscious sun is in gate 62. Like mine, your conscious sun and earth, and this for ours are reversed, which is that's why we have the same incarnation cross, but it's like mine over here is 32 42 and 62 61. So we have
Huh,
a lot of similar energy in our chart, but this here,
okay.
I believe this is the gate of details, and this is being able to very clearly recognize patterns
Mm,
and things that like being able to recognize patterns and dismantling certain belief systems and things like that for the potential
mm,
of growth. And this also here,
mm,
this one is also about growth potential and being able to see patterns and seeing trends and things like that. And
mm,
so
mhm.
that's similar to me too. That's
That's so
oh, that's
cool.
so cool.
All right, I'm gonna have to get a reading. God, I need to know
Mm,
more. I need to know more about all this. Okay, girl, this is beautiful. Okay, so
mhm.
if this is an idea for somebody to get, like, there are simpler, um, different ones that you can see, but what you're looking at here is, like you said, this is a system that you pay for that has lots of layers, and so you spend a lot
Mhm.
of time looking at this
Yeah.
information before you actually get your clients on board. And typically, what was that?
Yeah, that was like the astro view. Like I don't know how to read Oh wait, no, that's not the one. Where is it?
That was
I
cool.
don't know how to read the astrology stuff like these things, but this is like
Oh,
it layers astrology here with like the houses and
yes.
the
That's like a birth
signs, and
chart.
then
That's what a birth chart
inside,
looks
yeah,
like.
but then inside here you'll see the gates of the human design system,
Okay.
and so this shows all of that. But I usually take this view. This view is just like easier and clearer for me to read, and I
Yeah.
like to see the
Yes, of
body graph.
course.
But this
Yeah.
layers the astrological signs and the houses, which add more nuance and flavor and color into the
Flavor
mix.
Flav.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, this is why you need somebody to help you read this kind
Mhm.
of stuff, because I mean, yeah, I can be like, oh, okay, well, I'm a manifesting generator, and be like, okay, and I respond. My authority is sacral. Okay, that means really nothing to me, except for I'm just supposed to sit here and wait for things to come to me, and then I can respond. But there's so much more, and that's that's what I want people to understand. Is that I mean, that's not even like rubbing the top off the layer, but there's like
Mm-mm.
it's like you're just entering the room.
Yeah, it's the
There's
tip
like
of the iceberg for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. So this is why I wanted to have this conversation with you, because you're so fascinating and fantastic. Okay, so it's amazing that the time goes as fast as it does. And we're
Time is
already
time and
over
it does its
time.
thing.
It does its thing with or without us, girl. So I
Hmm.
definitely want to have more conversations with
Yeah,
you on this podcast. I hope that I can invite you back and that you would be interested in having me
absolutely. I would
back.
love
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. There's so much for us all to learn, and we can all help one another. Is there anything that, like, just top level, anything else that you'd like to say about human design, or anything on your heart that you want to share with whomever might be listening today that could be considering, maybe I want to get a chart read?
Yeah, I think that if you are experiencing a lot of friction in life, like you feel like you're swimming upstream or you're burnt out, burnout is not always about overworking. It's really about misusing your energy. And human design provides such a simple and beautiful framework with actually applicable tools that you can start using right away
Mm.
to start experiencing less friction and more ease in your life. And that's really ultimately, in my opinion, the goal of this system is to promote ease in people's lives. And
Mm.
like an epiphany that I had not too long ago was this epiphany of, and I share this because I feel like your audience probably speaks the same language and
Yeah,
I can
I
get
hope
into
so.
this like woo shit, right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah, I love it. I love
human
it.
human design, it being our energetic fingerprint, is our own unique access point to living in flow with the universal current. The universal current it exists. It's the same current that makes seasons change, flowers bloom. It's the same current that burst forth from the Big Bang. It's the same current that created the planets and the stars. Like that current that underpins everything in the universe, the Tao. Your human design is your own unique access point to living in flow with that universal current. And it blows my mind every fucking time.
Mm,
And that it helps you live in harmony with the Tao.
mm,
And that's why I fucking love this system,
yeah.
because it's a fucking psychedelic experience.
It is a psychedelic experience where you don't even need to have any kind of more additional mind altering
Right,
substances. Yeah,
right.
that's the beauty. That is spirit to me.
Mm-hmm.
The connection to understanding our place in our space, and if we can do something to make our lives easier, more in flow, to
More
feel more
connected.
connected to one another,
Yeah.
to self, then I say, I'm in for that. I am in for that. All right, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your beautiful
Mm.
energy and your work in the world. And we're going to attach your contact information, and you have your free master classes, which I cannot believe. I have to just, I know that I've gone totally over here, but um, I love that you offer your master classes for free. And I think it's fantastic, not just because I sat and listened to myself, of course, but for the manifesting generator for nearly 2 hours. And that you did this because you had so many people that were always asking you the same questions over and over again. You're just like, Jesus, I just put this out there and then you can get all the information, but you require your clients, your future clients, if they want to work with you, they have to listen to that masterclass
Yes.
because they need to get the information but that also shows your quality of character, because that means you're not charging them for the additional 2 hours that you could be sitting there telling them all that. That's class, girl. That's class.
Thank you.
Just want to say that. Just want to point that out.
Thank you so much.
I lift up wherever I can. Yeah. So you nicely done. And you also are offering a 12-week immersion right now called Frequency with Ellen Wong, who is a breathwork facilitator. And ooh, girl, that girl,
she is
you two
magic.
together must be like, pew!
It's pure magic. It is pure magic. Yes.
Yeah. So people can go to your website and find out more about that. It sounds beautiful. You're doing very important, powerful work. And I want to be the one to say thank you to you today for showing up for yourself, for me, and for whoever is listening today.
Thank you so much, Ahhhh. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure chatting with you, and definitely looking forward to more chats.
Oh my gosh, we're going to do this again, girl. All right. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.